Hey, everybody. Welcome to today's Burst of Innovation. It is so good to see you all. I am, let's see, yeah, hearing a fine. Awesome. I can't believe that we are at the end of the year, but here we are. So, as I always say, the best way to set yourself up for success for 2022, for the next year, is actually to start in the year that you're in. Not only does everything build on each other and there's compounding value, but also I think it's a mistake for us to go into the next year waiting until January to get started because then we're already behind. And as you know, at that point, like 2022 has started and it's the end of January before we're really kicking things off, right? We got to get our feet under us, we got to get moving. So I wanted to give you some questions. They're going to help set you up for success because one of the questions that I get a lot is, Tamara, I really want new, bigger, more breakthrough results moving forward, but I'm not sure how to set myself up to do that. Meaning, I don't know how to think about planning. I don't know how to think about, visioning my way to kind of getting these new results. I know the same things don't work, but I'm not sure how to get to those new things that are going to get me those new results. So, what I want to do is give you 5 questions for successful and innovative 2022 strategic planning. What these questions are going to do is put you on a different path. It's going to give you new trains of thinking so that you can get to those new ideas that are going to leapfrog you. You know, when we do the same thing we've always done, yet we expect different results, what happens? What happens when we are looking to create some type of breakthrough or just some type of new way of looking at something and we do what we've always done? Maybe we do what we've always done and we double down on thinking, well, if I just work harder and do more of this, that's what's going to get me there. Put that in the, by the way, if you're watching on social media, we're streaming live, you can put that in any of the comments. If you're on my Zoom link, go ahead and put it there. Let me know what happens when you say, all right, this year we're going to go bigger, right? We're going to increase the business. We are going to pivot. We are going to have that breakthrough that we've been looking for, yet we do what we've always done. What happens? Yeah, a whole lot of nothing. Exactly, Jessica. A whole lot of nothing. And Mark says it's even worse because it didn't get you the results the first time. Oh my gosh, yeah. Yes, Mark, both of those are true. A whole lot of nothing, and it actually puts you further away from your goal. All right, let me do a quick um, tech thing here to get my screen set up for you so that I can show you how we're going to think a little bit differently about time. Well, let me click share screen. Mia says, same old result, same revenue, same frustration. Yes, Mia, exactly. That's the part that's a killer, right? Not only do you get the same results, but you're super frustrated because that's not what you were trying to do. You're trying to get stronger results. You're trying to drive more revenue. You're trying to drive more impact, more yes to your ideas. You're trying to drive getting those clients or just getting a promotion at work. I'll tell you just real quick, I had a woman who used to work for me who uh, she really wanted a promotion. And so she was a junior consultant at an innovation firm I worked for. So I sat her down and I said, all right, well, if you want a promotion, here are the things that you need to do differently, right? To work your way towards that. There's a baseline that's going great, but these things need to happen. And we need to think differently about how you're doing this part. So I gave it all to her. And yet, what she did was more of the same. And then when she came to me and said, I'm ready, it's been a year, I had to do the hard conversation and say, hey, listen, you're not right. You're doing the same thing you've always done. You're getting the same results. That's not promotion material. So really think about it as I love what Mia said. Let me put my chat bar here, same old frustration. All right, so let me go through these questions for you. So I love these questions so much. So the first one is, how do I go around the brick wall instead of over it like I always do? Here's what I'm saying with this question. I know you get it. When we see that brick wall, that's our obstacle. That's the results we've always gotten. That's the opportunity that we can't seem to get a hold of. If we just keep running at the brick wall and trying to go over it in the same old way every time, it doesn't work. right? Sometimes we maybe get a little higher up the brick wall, but then we come scraping down all bruised. So what do, right? We back up, we go for a running start, and we try again. Well, it doesn't work. We can't keep going over the brick wall and expecting it to work just because we backed up 10 feet and ran a little bit harder. Same kind of thing with what Mia said with the frustration. We can't get those results if we do the same thing or if we double down on it. So, what I want you to ask yourself is whatever that brick wall is, how do I go around it instead? That's going to open up whole new channels of possibility for you. When I think of going around my obstacles, I think about bending the rules. I think about challenging how I do things. I think about moving the brick wall. I think about turning the brick wall into a stepping stone and not a challenge. Do you see where I'm going here? Instead of doing what we've always done, we got to think, how do I go around it? Maybe you even ask yourself, how do I go under it, through it? How do I remove it? How do I use it as a springboard? We can't keep doing what we've always done. It's so easy to apply yesterday's thinking to tomorrow's challenges. We can't do that. If we want to succeed, we got to go around, under, through the brick wall instead. All right, that's question number one. Question number two, what's the smallest thing I could do that would have the biggest impact? Here's why I love this question. As you know, sometimes we get stuck thinking so big or thinking our idea has to be so massive that we actually freeze. Our brain freezes. We don't know what to do. And on top of that, sometimes the best innovation is just a little adjustment away. It's just a little tweak. Those of you who have the tweaker style in your everyday innovator style, like you get this naturally. Sometimes the best innovation is just a tiny little adjustment away. So I love innovation that's small but super, super powerful. Okay, go with me for a minute. I kind of think of these small things like mosquitoes, right? Those things are super small, but man, right? When a mosquito bites you, that bite is big. That has an impact. I want you to think about that. There's probably a way better animal out there, but that's the one that came to me. What's the smallest thing I could do that would have the biggest impact? Is it an adjustment on how you market? Is it a tiny shift in your language? Is it how you communicate? Is it a little adjustment on that product or service that you offer that would just take it over the edge in terms of value? Is it how you do your job and schedule your day? Whatever that adjustment is, I want you to think about what are some small things that we could do. I find, particularly with strategic planning for like annual planning, people think really big, like, what are those big, huge things we're going to do? And that's great. But the challenge is when we do that is we then miss all these little opportunities that have compounding value. So let's not miss the little ones, okay? What is the smallest thing? Then before I go into this one, please know I'm saying me and I set these up for the individual. A lot of you on here lead teams. This is fantastic to bring to your teams. I would take some screenshots and I'm going to put these pictures up on social media later as well, but I would go to your teams with these questions. You don't have to have a big strategic planning meeting. You could just be figuring out how to solve a problem, how to move forward, where an opportunity is, how to serve a client, how to present in a meeting, whatever it is. So here's my next one. What assumptions are holding you back and what happens if you didn't have them? In every business, we have assumptions about how things are supposed to be done. We have rules that we follow. Oftentimes, those rules are just other people's way of doing things, but they don't have to be ours. So if you actually did an assumption audit and sat down and listed out, here are all the things that I think how it has to work. This is how it has to be done. And then find those ones that maybe got some holes in them that maybe they don't apply anymore and ask, well, what would we do if we weren't bound to this? You'll find incredible innovation. Here's the thing. So I've done a lot of workshops with clients recently about 2022 and just getting them to think differently, right? Come up with a new way to approach a strategic plan and get those innovative ideas out. And one of the things I found when we do this kind of assumption audit is that a lot of the assumptions and the rules that we're following worked 5 years ago, 2 years ago, but they don't work today. Yet we're still bound to them because we never take the time to say, wait, is that a rule that I really want to follow, right? Does that rule really work for me? So I want you to think about what are those assumptions that are holding you back, and then how do I get over them? Oh, Mia has one here. Goes assumption that client do not need to be educated about marketing strategies. They don't know it all, right? Exactly. Exactly, Mia. So if the assumption is that the clients do not need to be educated, and you flip that and you say, wait, that's not an assumption I need to hold true, because I've got new clients. Maybe they're in industries that don't have the marketing background that some industries do. Well, how would that change how you serve them? Maybe there'd be an education component, right? Maybe there'd be more communication because they need a little bit more hand holding in that way. I love that. Yeah, we all have them in our industry. We all have them. By the way, one of mine, just so you know, there's a couple. One is in order for, how do I say this right? There's two actually that I've been looking at recently. One is um, in order for innovation to work, it has to be heavy and complicated. Why? That's the most ridiculous rule ever, meaning it has to be like complex. That's a better way to say it. It has to be complex. Like we need stages, we need all these different initiatives, we need all this stuff. That's not true at all. It's not true at all. In fact, we're going to build our entire business around the opposite of that. We all have assumptions in our business. In fact, I would argue that some of those rules, particularly in innovation, hold us back, right? If you make it heavy and complicated or complex, nobody does it. Okay, this one's a little bit more personal. This is one of my favorites to play with. Who do I need to be? Habits, actions, behaviors to realize my 2022 vision. So here's what I love about this. We set a bold vision, a bold goal that we're trying to get to. But what we often miss, and I have absolutely been guilty of this in the past, what we miss is, all right, well, what are the habits I need to have? What are the actions and behaviors that I need to do every single day to make this happen? So I'm going to give you an example. I love to pull back the curtain. We have moved the podcast to 5 days a week and all everyday innovators. I know some of you know because I'm interviewing you and I cannot wait to release it, right? These are everyday people, not the experts with their blah, blah answers and their memes and their theories, right? People out there really driving innovation in their world, big and small. By the way, if you should be on it, email me. I'd love to have you. So I love it. I'm so excited about it, which by the way, there's another assumption I broke. People said you have to interview experts. Why? You're out there doing it. An expert every now and again, if they have something is worthwhile, but why does that assumption actually have to hold true? So, okay, so going to behaviors and habits. So here I am, we've shifted up this podcast. Now I have to ask myself, not just what tasks do I need to do? Like I need more people on the podcast, right? Because we're going to 5 days a week, but also what behaviors do I need to have? What habits do I need to have to make that happen? Well, partially, I need to actually email 3 people a day who I know are driving innovation to be on the podcast, right? That's a habit I need to get into. That's not a task. It really is a habit. My habit is one of the habits I absolutely have to have on a podcast is I need to be fully present because I need to be engaging and I need to be paying attention to what you're saying, right? So presence is a habit that I have to build. I work on it all the time because I've always got 100 things going on in my mind. So what are the habits and the actions and behaviors that you need to realize your 2022? What are you not doing today that you need to implement tomorrow? One of the other habits that I need to, by the way, for me to do everything I want to do in the most innovative way so that it adds incredible value and that it's just full of energy is I actually need to break from work at about 2 or 3 o'clock. That's a habit I need to create. I get up at 4 a.m., I go to the gym, I start work early, right? By 2, I've had a day and a half of most people's full day. But I got into this habit of, but I got to grind it out, right? I got to grind it out. But the truth is that grinding it out doesn't do me any good. The work I do around 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon is pretty bad. So I need to get into the habit of breaking and moving or meditating or just being outside, something that rejuvenates me so that I don't run on an empty tank. If I'm going to achieve the goals that I want to achieve for 2022, right, I've got to get into the habit of rejuvenation. Okay, you get the point. You can see why I love this one so much. So I think it really makes you think about how you act, not just the tasks and the goals that you're setting. All right, another one of my all-time favorites, and I just played with this recently too. What's the game I want to play and what rules set me up to win? So many of us don't know what game we're trying to play. Like, what is the life we're trying to live? What is our team culture really about? What are we really trying to accomplish as a team here, right? We just go through the motions. Maybe we set some goals, but we haven't thought about like, what game are we really playing? When you know that, then you can say, all right, what rules set this game up for success? Is that rule that we collaborate once, that we always have one team meeting every week? Is that rule that we stop working at 2 o'clock? Is that rule that we have no meetings Fridays so that people can actually get work done? Or maybe we don't work at all on Fridays. What are the rules that set you up for success? And what game are you trying to play? It's so important to understand that. So I love this one so much because I think, again, it makes you think about it. Let's go to the game for a second. I'm just going to use football as my analogy because it's going on right now. My Raiders got a beat down yesterday by Kansas City. So, but here's the thing about football, right? Those rules that they have set the game up for success. We know how long they play for. We know what a penalty is, and we know what happens when there's a penalty. The players know the rules. Everybody plays to their best within that game, within that framework. So what game do you want to play? And then what rules set you up to win? All right. Is there any one of them? I'm going to go backwards real quick so you can, if you've got your phone out, now's the time to take a screenshot. I will post them as well. But I hope you can see how asking these different questions is going to get you to those different answers to get to those different results in 2022. All right, I'm going to go backwards so that you can take a picture. While I'm doing that, I want you to type in the chat bar in the comments which question is the one that you're going to start with. I encourage you to ask them all because what I found is that different questions open up different ideas in the brain. So it's not about one question having the end all be all. It's about tapping all these different innovative ideas inside of you. What's the question that you are going to start with? Is it here, brick wall? How do I go around? The smallest thing you could do, get all those little ideas of compounding value, the assumptions holding you back, the habits, the behaviors, who do you need to be? Or what's the game I want to play and what rules will set me up to win? And Corey says, what's the game I want to play and what rules? Because that then will help me think about all the other questions. Oh, Corey, excellent point. I hadn't really thought about it that way. Yeah, I love that. Connie also says, what's the game I want to play? Maybe we have a winner here. So Connie, I'm just going to say, because you're a solopreneur like me, what it made me really think about is how many hours do I want to work? What is the type of work I really want to do? How much do I actually want to travel? How do I want to win in this marketplace? What type of scale in my business do I want to create? It made me really think about those questions. And when I got to those questions, like, what's the impact I want to make in 2022? When I really thought about that, it made me realize that the digital magazine, the IQE, like all those things allow me to do that. And that's where my focus should be. And then I could set up some rules, some ways of being that allow that to happen. Yeah. Okay, good. How do we go around the brick wall? Yeah, Rita, love that one as well. I love that one because, as you know, it's just we just keep hitting that brick wall. We hit it the same time, and then we wonder why we get bruised and scraped and frustrated. Yeah, what is the impact I want to make? Yeah, and Connie, if you use that question, I would absolutely encourage you to quantify it. Not because I want you to be about the money, although I'm all about I think money and impact go hand in hand. I don't think they need to be separate, but I want you to think about okay, if my goal is to impact X people, how do I make that happen, right? I think you guys know this, 2022, we're hitting it really hard. We've had this kind of goal lingering in the background about unleashing 1 million everyday innovators into the world, because imagine the impact we could have, the challenges we could solve. I think it would shift. I actually think it would shift a lot of things in our world today. And we need that shift so badly if so many of us were being more innovative and living up to our potential. But it's 1 million. And that's what we're going for in 2022. And I know that, and that impacts how I think about my business, the business model, how I go to market, the types of products we sell, which keynotes I take, which ones I don't take. It really makes a difference. That's the game we want to play. All right, everybody, let me take this off real quick. What's your big aha or insight coming out of this? Maybe not just the question, but what's the big aha or insight you have coming out of this? Put it in the comments or in the chat for me. Let's share with each other. Hey, Mary, I see you on the comments. Okay. Martha says the importance of asking different questions. I realize I'm asking the same ones. Yeah, here's the thing, Martha, I'll just tell you. Um, Research has shown that 96% of our thoughts are the same as they were the day before. Yeah, we're repetitive. I'm sure I got that right. And we don't even know it. It's at a subconscious level. So I think it's just important to recognize that. Once we recognize that, we can do it differently. Oh, I'm so glad. Connie says that was all capital. So inspiring for me. Can't wait to go through these questions. Yeah, good. I'm so glad. You'll absolutely love them. It really does just change how you do it. I'm going to email them out so you'll get them that way too. I just love these questions. And by the way, I put them in a picture form, a JPEG or PNG, whatever it is, so that you can share them with other people. So let's make an impact with other people as well by sharing these questions to help them think differently too. There's so much, we're stronger together. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Oh, you're so welcome. Ilana says, this was amazing. I would have never thought to ask the game question. Thank you. It works every time. I've been doing that question for a couple of years now. And I will tell you, I'm doubling down on that question this year, moving into next, because of just family obligations, family life, because of some things I want to achieve in my life, because of where the business is headed. I'm really focusing on that question. Yeah. Oh, Mia says she runs her business every month, like it's the end of the year. Yeah, Mia, I'll tell when you and I connect next. Or maybe I'll do it on my next one. I will tell you about Flippin' Day. Every month there's a Flippin' Day, and I will tell you what that means next time if you want it, because it's a good way to keep yourself. In fact, we will do that next time because it's a good way to keep yourself on track. I didn't come up with it, but a wise mentor told it to me, and it's how I run my business every month too. So I think it's aligned with what you're saying. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. Hey, if you like this, if you got value out of this on social media, especially on LinkedIn, put that in the comment section so I know, because the more I know, the more I come back and do more stuff. Here we go.